Um, Truth asks very little of us. It only requires recognition. And you mentioned that earlier, but the fact of the matter is, to me, I don't know that we're always told we tell truth to power, that we're here to tell the truth, the press. But there are 4,000 religions on this planet, and all of them have their own truth. I maintain that my job is to provide vetted factual information, that the idea is to vet facts. So the facts, to me, ask little of us other than recognition, but they also require verification. They require that I have always said that I don't maintain, and as a scientist, I hope you can understand where I'm going with this, but the idea of journalism is the application of the scientific method to mass communication. You're
Hmm.
constantly testing, and in your peer review or your editors before you can publish. And then once published, you still have to, if there are new facts that come to light, you have to apply them and admit when you've done something wrong. I have never heard Donald Trump once. You say truth asks little of us, but it does ask you to at least acknowledge when you're wrong. And I don't think that Donald Trump has ever done that. How do you apply? How do you get to the truth or get to a fact if you can't admit that you're wrong?
Right. So we live in post-truth America, right? We do. Where like the
Well, I'm going to
truth,
say post fact America. We can't, I cannot get past the idea that we cannot agree upon simple facts.
simple facts.
I
Absolutely.
mean, you talk about Alex Pretty, for example, and I see. I think there's an example of where what you just said about you can't argue against Donald Trump because you're too busy trying to disprove him. I think that we've all missed the point in both that shooting and in the first shooting of Good, and that is the fact that ICE. I don't care if you can it's like watching an NFL replay. I mean, what frightens me, what angers me about it is we're watching NFL replays of shootings and we're trying to decide, is it a catch? Isn't it a catch? It's like listening to referees. But the fact of the matter is, can we take it out of the realm of that millisecond or that moment and ask this question? Did they follow proper police procedures before, during, and after the shooting? Because there are well developed procedures that every police department, and you're in Montgomery County, so you may remember Tom Manger when he was the chief of police in Montgomery County, suspended an officer whose foot was run over by a guy, and he suspended him because he discharged a weapon. He didn't end up killing the guy, but even though the guy ran over his foot in a traffic stop, it was determined that he did not have probable cause. He did not follow proper police procedure to discharge his weapon. Did you follow? There are very specific guidelines for a police officer to engage in a shooting. There are specific guidelines during a shooting. You don't open fire in a crowded area. You don't, in the first one, you don't shoot into a car that's moving. You have the license plate, as the chief will tell you, hey, idiot, you got the license plate number. You can go back and find him anytime you want. Don't jump in front of a car. With Preddy, the same thing. You don't sit there and tackle a guy if he's armed. You don't know. You still don't tackle him, pepper spray him, and shoot him in the back. And afterwards, does the police officer stay on scene, hand the gun over to a partner for investigation, and then sit and answer questions? In the first case, simply fled the scene. And we were told the conclusion of the investigation in the White House press briefing room by the Vice President of the United States before any investigation ever happened, and they told us it wouldn't happen. Aren't we simply losing sight of the fact that none of this was followed factually?